Alright, this is a review for 13.4, and this is the first video. So the first problem says find theta and round to 3 decimal places. So here's theta. You know these two sides. You could definitely use a squared plus b squared equals c squared Pythagorean theorem to figure out this side if you want, but that's just unnecessary work. So from theta, I know the side opposite, and I know the hypotenuse. So I want to think about opposite and hypotenuse, and of course in terms of trig ratios, that would be sine. So if I do sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse, then, which of course 8/16 is really 1/2, right? But not that you have to do that. So then on my calculator, I want to figure out what theta is. So where is the sine value equal to 1/2? Well, actually, you should know that from your unit circle. But if not, you can do inverse sine of 8/16, which of course is 1/2, and that will tell you what theta is. You also want to make sure you're in degree mode, unless it says otherwise. So if it said in radians, then you change your mode to radians. But again, you know where the sine equals 1/2, and that of course is at 30 degrees. Then it says here, evaluate the inverse trig functions, give answers in both degrees and radians. So just take a second, pause the video, see if you can get the answer in degrees and radians, and then check your answer. So in degrees, it is 109.9 degrees, and in radians, it is 1.92. Remember, you go to your mode button, and radian and degree should be an option right next to each other. You always want to be real conscientious of what mode you're in. Alright, then we'll do a couple of solving the equations for theta. Notice it says to round your answer to the nearest whole degree. So here it says sine of theta equals -0.23, and we want theta to be between 180 and 270. Okay, so first I'm going to just remind myself I want to be between 180 and 270, so somewhere in the third quadrant. Then I'm going to do inverse sine of -0.23 to get theta. I'm making sure I'm in degree mode because that's what the problem is in here. And I got -13.3 degrees. So if I place that here, you know, -13, well, that's not -13, sorry. So -13.3 degrees is right there. And obviously it's a negative angle, which is fine, but that is not in between 180 and 270. So I need to be over here. So that, think about the sine value is the y-coordinate, so the y-coordinate here should be the same over here. So that itty-bitty difference, I want to kind of just sketch it over here. So again, treat it like a reference angle. Take that 13 degrees and put it over in the quadrant that you want it in. Always connected to the x-axis, never the y. And then figure out what that is. Well, again, pretty clear that from here I know that's 180 plus another 13.3, so the angle I want is 180 plus 13.3, so 193.3 degrees. And this would be a calculator question, so now go to your calculator and type in sine of 193.3, and you should get -0.23. Alright, and then the last one says tangent of theta equals -2.5. and you want theta to be between 90 and 180. So again, I want to be between 90 and 180, so in the second quadrant, and I'm going to do inverse tangent of -2.5, and that will give me my theta, my wrong theta. So at first I get -68.2 degrees. So -68, well, that's going to be roughly right there. But I want it in the second quadrant. So now I'm thinking my tangent value. Well, my tangent value, I want this distance, which is 68 degrees, to be the same over here. So again, treat this as a reference angle and redraw it over here so that this is 68 degrees, right? 68.2 technically. And then how do I get there? Well, If I start at the x-axis, this would be 90 degrees plus another whatever, however many degrees that is. Or an easier way might be, I'm just going to take 180, I'm going to go all the way to 180, and I'm going to subtract off that 68, because that's actually what I don't want, right? So I just took 180, took off the 68 to get that, well, 68.2, if you want to be real technical, to get that angle. And the angle we want in the second quadrant is 111.8 degrees. And again, double check, type into your calculator the tangent of 111.8, and you do get negative 2.5. So you should be able to check these.